Yesterday, I was in Peckham promoting my book, Taffy How, and I came across a lady that she didn't have much time. She was working from home, and she was really encouraged to see me promoting my work the way that I was doing, and she wanted some more information about it, maybe like a business card or what have you. And I just took the book out quickly and said, "Can you manage to read that bit there?" She goes, "Oh, give it to me. Let's have a look." And she read it. She goes, "No, it looks really interesting. I feel like it looks like a really good read." She said to me, she works in television, and this actually looks like a good drama. Yeah, and I thought, wow, that's the first time someone said that, because many times I've come across people, and they've looked through it, and they've seen how I've sort of done, sort of put the book together, and they basically said that they can see it as a play. But it's the first time someone's actually said that she can actually see this as a really good drama. But obviously I'd have to thicken it up. The story needs to be thickened up a bit, but to be honest, there's the writing so compressed, you could actually turn it into what is here now could actually be turned into a drama. So I've always said, eventually I would need an agent, because I would like my work to be turned into drama, and who knows, eventually film. But I think it's nice. I think it's better to take a step at a time and do, something like a drama first, and see how you get on with that, and so on and so in progress. But it's good to have ambition for your work, though, isn't it? But it's really nice when you meet a professional that actually says something like that. Yeah, it really is. It really is encouraging. I've met somebody as well a few months ago, and he does script writing, and he was really, as soon as he said, I've written a book, he was like, oh, really interested to look at it. And then he said, oh, well, I write, but he said, oh, it's screenwriting. And I said, well, that's amazing. And he said, well, it's not like writing a book. And he's basically got experience with screenwriting, which is a big thing. Obviously you need skill to be a screenwriter, but it's just the way that he said, well, it's not as like I've written a book. So, I am meeting people that are sort of, now they're looking at my work, and a bit differently. I feel like, it's going from strength to strength. I'm still in the same book, but maybe it's the way that I'm promoting it. How you can grow with your work, and you mature with your work. You get more confident as you continue to progress. I've always been confident with my work, but I know that the way that I promote now is, I can see a difference between last year and this year. It's just the way that I feel like that's what happens. You sort of develop yourself more, even though maybe you don't realize it. Character, and the way that how I'm coming across to people, I guess I'm more, I don't know, maybe like a little bit more relaxed, because I don't know, it's just the experience, isn't it? Gaining that experience, and knowing that, even though I knew before, but it's just a different type of experience. It's just a different type. You're picking up a different type of knowledge. Is it gaining more wisdom, should I say? As you grow and mature, that's what it is. And it's really good. But I'm just saying this to encourage all of you wonderful creators out there. You could be just starting to create something, or you could have been doing something for years and it looks as though you're not getting anywhere. Just to encourage you to say that, I might not be this big, massive, well-known author, but I am progressing in the material that I am producing. I haven't produced a lot of books. I've only written 2. I'm rewriting my first book, and if you've been watching my podcast, you've got an idea of what I mean. And I've written part 2 of Taffy How, but that needs to be typed up and sort of like reorganized a bit. And then I've got ideas for children's books. I've got more books coming. It's going to be so exciting when I'm holding up another book. But it's just to encourage you to carry on, and believing in what you're doing. And even though you may not be this extra massive well-known author or writer, if you're writing something that's constructive and inspirational, you're inspiring someone out there. You're encouraging someone out there, and even more than someone, so it's all good and it's all interesting. And sometimes it takes time to get to where you want to get to, but while it's taking that time to get to where you want to get to, it's building up your character. You've got more to talk about because you've experienced sort of being in a position where maybe people didn't take you seriously, being in a position where it feels like you're not achieving anything, being in a position where you might actually feel like giving up, and you've really had to encourage yourself, or someone has seen your work and they've encouraged you. It could have been a friend or a relative or someone professional, and that you've sort of said, yeah, let's give it another go. Because even when I'm out and about promoting my work, you do get rejected, you do, but I've always said that rejection has built me up. It's actually made me take a step back and look at what I'm doing and look at it with respect, because I've had someone that has looked at my book and thought like that, and then they said, give you £1 for it. This was years ago, and it was like, nah. And he was saying that he sells papers, and they don't cost. It was years ago, and you really made me take a step back and see how much work and effort I'd put into writing the book, how much work and effort it took to getting it edited and basically put into book format, and all the work and effort it takes to actually have the confidence to go out and put your work out there, and having the and having the strength to keep on going, selling and promoting, and it was like, this is worth more than £1. I know that, especially even then, and that was a few years ago. It even cost more than £1 to put the book into book format. So sometimes rejection makes you, it makes me take a step back and look at what I'm doing, and also it makes me see how far I've come. So it's just to encourage all of you out there that are trying to do something, produce something, create something, or, build a business or what have you, keep on going. As long as it's encouraging, it's constructive, it's inspiring, why not? But I do look forward to hearing your comments, and, I forgot what I normally say now, because I haven't been doing as many videos as I used to do. And I've said it before, my other video, that I want to build up and start doing more short videos. It's probably because I've been focusing on the podcast, and the podcast is called A Sacrifice of a Lifetime. It's based on that book at the moment, and it's called Sack and Taff. Because Sack is part of my title of the first book, A Sacrifice of a Lifetime, and Taff is part of the beginning of Taffy How. Because sometimes I'll be talking about Sacrifice of a Lifetime, and sometimes I'll be talking about Taffy How. And even when I've finished talking about A Sacrifice of a Lifetime, I will continue to. It's basically a title that will go with what I'm doing, because the majority of the things that I talk about are little snippets of what's going on in my life or what I've experienced that I share, which I feel is constructive, and I feel it will be a benefit to other people. So it is a sacrifice when you are sharing, because sometimes people sort of think, they don't want to share because and when I share, it's not like a gossipy type of sharing. It's a constructive type of sharing. To let this is what's happened, this is how I dealt with it, this is how I overcame it, and now it's strengthened me, and blah blah blah. It's all positive. It's not like this negative stuff where